Okay, so they pillaged my belongings and then they came and knocked on my door, filled my house up with corpses. The both days I had dumped all my things, my house was filled up with corpses that I was in. Filled my bathroom up with corpses. Filled my house up with chemical stenches. And the townspeople are pillaging with their hands and taking everything I had left on the sidewalk. So they pillaged all my belongings that I had left and then kept continuing trying to make attempts on my life in the house, and also knocked on the door telling me I had mental health problems. Let me repeat this because that is what happened. I hope that the military good guys filmed the 2 days of pillaging all my belongings. The townspeople pillaged my belongings. There's nothing left because of the value and how nice the things were. While they pillaged everything I had left on the sidewalk, it's not cleaned up like some cleaning crew came and took it. You can go see it's been picked through. I went there every day to see the status, as once a day because I take my garbage out every day. Okay. While they were pillaging my only little bit of things I owned, since I've been persecuted by the government, starting with Donald Trump, and denied employment and left destitute. While they were pillaging my belongings that I left on the sidewalk, they were knocking on my door, telling me I had mental health problems, telling me to continue the frenzy of text messages with a proven terrorist, telling me to not expect any proof of who they are, as they claim to be so-and-so knocking on my door. I had the other domestic terrorists who I'm tragically related to, telling me I'm imagining it, telling me they don't know what I'm talking about, referring to all the horror and pain that they've caused me as a family member as quote-unquote stuff. She says she doesn't know about the stuff I'm talking about when I accused her and confronted her about her own domestic terrorism. I can't talk to her about what she did because I can't. But there's a point where this is pointless. I know what she and he did. I can't talk about it on YouTube. And I knew it was all going up on Facebook, so that was one reason why I didn't confront her in complete and utter detail to things they had done. That made me very clear that these individuals in my family are engaged in domestic terrorism. I have no doubt. But it also is like pointless when you're confronting a family member. I mean, you could write a list of every last thing they did. I just went with it. I was like, confront her now, dude. Towards the end of the confrontation text messages, it wasn't even her responding to me. I don't believe so. The last couple of text messages weren't. She doesn't refer to God. She doesn't refer to these things. I know her as a really nice person since I was 31, but I know her also as someone who's not safe and who scared me, who I shared that with my counselor, my drug and alcohol counselor, who told me that this is a red flag and she could actually maybe physically hurt me, and that I needed to really reconsider how much physical contact that I was having with her. So on and so forth. It was something we discussed in our counseling sessions. I stutter now from traumatic events. I say I. I'm pretty messed up from living here. And while I'm in this condition, they pillaged all of my things on the sidewalk and came knocking on my door. On the 26th, the day before yesterday, when I said that the dead bodies were gushing and billowing out the front door, it was so strong. Like, that's what I'm talking about when I say it's that strong. I opened the door and I was moving stuff out. It was like 9:30 I took about 7 trips. I mean, it was like 7 trips both days of just incredible amounts of really nice things. Every day they pillaged it. Versace perfume. I mean, just you name it. Mackenzie plate sets. I couldn't believe the shit I was leaving out there, but I did it because it doesn't matter to me. I just want out of here. I've got the rest of my things that I'd be a whore if someone took. These are valuable things I've been keeping for myself. I don't want to talk on YouTube why I want to keep my valuable things. I don't want YouTube to get any more sadistic pleasure out of this. YouTube is profiting and enjoying this sadistically, what they've done to me for almost 7 years. YouTube are sadists. They have disenfranchised me knowingly, and they went through hack stuff to do it. They hack my things. They've watched me stutter and mumble and sob and beg for tears, and they love it when I film and beg for my life. And they make money off it. They're just as sick as the townspeople here who dig and take all my valuable property and then knock on my door, tell me I have mental health problems. Okay, so the 26th, I opened the door and the dead bodies were gushing out. You could smell it. I know. I'm an adult. I'm sober. If you stood on the sidewalk, you could get a good whiff of that, okay? The closer you come, the more you're gonna smell it, okay? Okay. So these 3 white men were walking by with tennis things. Dressed, affluent, rich white men. That's what's here with their Muslim terrorists. That's Washington, D.C. is what you see when you're outside. That's all I see here is white and Arab people. Anytime I leave this property and go on the sidewalk. I was standing there with a big thing packed full of stuff on my way out. I'm moving with my house engulfed in dead bodies. I'm moving 7 trips of valuable stuff to the alley with my house engulfed in dead bodies, billowing out into the oxygen from the front door. I knew I was. It's not the first time I've done that here. Stood there and had the dead corpses, the stench and the gases. I've described it. I've written it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens here, what I talk about, what I film, what I write. They'll never stop the violence. And they'll only tell me I'm imagining it and arrest me for saying anything. There was 3 white men carrying tennis things. When they came by the house, they got really loud in front of the house to show off. It's obvious. Real loud. The man behind the 2, they were all together, turned his head right at me, looked right at me, and kept staring me down as he walked by until he was out of eyesight. Just a full on Washington, D.C. stare down, and he made a face. He scrunched his face all up and he showed his teeth and he made this crazy whacked out face at me until he was out of eyesight. It was obvious he was intentionally doing it. And he reminded me of the female who was killed and found dead here and dragged out in a body bag. Towards the end of her life, she started making faces like a child at me inside the terrorist cell. She'd stick her tongue out and make faces like that guy did at me. But they were walking past the house as all these dead bodies were gushing out to the oxygen. And I'm certain that they got a couple whiffs of that. There's no way they didn't. Now, whether or not they realized that was dead bodies that they were smelling, kind of touching them, because it would go, shh. You walk by, you might get another shh of it. Oh. I just couldn't believe it. Half my shit's in the alley. They're staring me down, and now they're making faces at me. It's men carrying tennis things. They're showing off, real loud. Only as they get right past the door, they're showing off. Staring me down, and there's dead body gases, rigor mortis, all that crap that comes out is really fucking horrible. It was like a mass grave site in here. It was engulfing the whole house and gushing out into the oxygen, the CO2 oxygen. Gushing out because the dead bodies and stuff emit gases. I don't know what they're doing in here. That was the same day that they had the house filled up with garbage bags at the same time. So it was everything stench, gushing out. And I'm being stared down and made faces at me by the townspeople who are also pillaging all my belongings in the alley. I don't look good anymore. No, I know that. I could look good, okay? But in this situation, my eyes are really puffy. I can explain all that, but I want to wrap this up and keep it under 14 minutes. The fumes don't stop. The fumes and the pee-poo never stopped. And the tear, and it never stops. So anything I say, even the pee-poo, the way I look, anything I say is all a delusion. It's an imagination. I'm in psychosis. I'm a psychotic. And they got to come and knock on my door. Anything I say, all right? I'm literally in here waiting to be arrested. Bye.